Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to share with you one of the latest reports that have come out of ACCA in their Professional Insights team. So if you go to acccaglobal.com and then you navigate down to their Policy and Insights area and just click on that Policy and Insights, it'll bring you into all of the different reports that they've produced. This is the one that we're going to talk about today. So weathering the storm, building resilience against climate disruptions. So when you click on that, it'll bring you into the main landing page for the report. Yeah, it was produced in the 11th of November 2024. The author, it's written by Emily and Skelton, is the head of sustainability, and she runs the Sustainability Global Forum that I'm a member on. Yeah, so weathering the storm, building resilience against climate disruptions. Only 20% of businesses and organizations are prepared for climate-related disasters. Organizational survival hinges on proactive climate risk assessment, and CFOs and finance teams are key to steering this transformation. I think the big message that's coming out of this for me is it's really around business continuity. I don't want to say there's sort of any kind of defeatist attitude around climate change, but certainly there's an acceptance that climate change is happening. It's real, it's coming, it's going to have a massive impact on organizations and society and obviously the environment. But this report starts to talk about the impact on organizations and what organizations can do to prepare for climate change related events, and particularly then what's the role of finance within that to be able to support it. So yeah, it paints a concerning picture of organizational preparedness, with only 20% of businesses and other organizations surveyed identifying climate-related risks across their organization. And 58% of the respondents said that business continuity is the big issue, and it's about having plans to address sudden disruption to the organization. Data from the report came from 600 finance professionals around the world. Biggest issues, power outages, top of the climate list, related disruptions in Africa, while North America's leading worries included supply chain breakdowns and employee health issues. And then, yeah, at the end here, it just talks about CFOs, finance teams are essential to building climate resilience through risk-based planning and sustainable business strategies. Over on the right-hand side of this landing page here, then you've got these related downloads. Now, I'll go through the report in a bit more detail in a minute, but these are sort of easy links to just get to a crisis management scenario testing guide, and then business impact analysis template, and then a crisis management plan example. So yeah, when you come back up to the top here, it's got this weathering the storm, building resilience. You click on explore the report, it will bring you into a beautiful report. I have to say ACCA's reports are quite stunning these days. They've really taken the technology of interacting with the reader to another level over the last couple of years. So yeah, this is a really excellent report. So yeah, click on the findings area. Weathering storm, building resilience against climate disruptions, gives you a little bit of a summary of the report and what the key sort of findings are from each of throughout the reports. The accountancy and finance profession can drive the transformation towards a climate resilient organization through comprehensive risk-based planning. Organizations aren't prepared for climate-related disasters. Resilience is not a priority on our members' agenda. 2/3 of respondents are not investing in climate adaptation. Organizations need to consider the impact of a distributed workforce in the societies and places they live. And government and business collaboration is crucial for balancing climate adaptation and decarbonisation, with clear policies, data access, and private investment needed to build resilience into the economies and ensure organizations can adapt to future climate risks. Yeah, so it goes through a little bit about climate change, and then it gives a summary of areas that you can get in. This article here, the interactions between IFRS Sustainability Disclosure Standards and European Sustainability Reporting Standards, is worth a read. Yeah, that gives you a little bit more detail on what's happening at a global level on the standard setting area. So yeah, you can click through to that link in there. Up the top here then moves into continuity planning. As you go in a little bit further, it also talks about operational resilience and then how finance can drive the transition in here. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then there's a few case studies, one from Australia, which I was involved in helping to get interaction with the stakeholders in an electricity network organization here in Australia, and then one from the Caribbean and one from Scotland. And then we've got those toolkits again. So yeah, as you go through continuity planning, Business continuity is the biggest underestimated risk for any organization. I don't believe we have effective plans in place to address sudden disruption due to climate issues. For example, IT, disaster recovery, evacuations, alternate suppliers and work sites. So that was a quote from an ACCA Caribbean member. So yeah, it goes back to this idea of continuity planning. Business continuity is the key thing. Adaptation, resilience, response, acceptance that climate change is happening and we will be increasingly exposed to more extreme events, I think is what is coming through here very, very clearly. So yeah, as you go through the continuity planning, we've got the business continuity toolkit, which I talked about right at the start there. There's a crisis management scenario testing toolkit in there. There's a business impact analysis that you can download and use, and then there's a crisis management plan example, and basically a template that you can tailor and customize for your own organization. So yeah, as you go back in there a little bit more, it talks about the different areas of the world and what they reckon are the biggest impacts of climate change within their countries. So globally, power outages, supply chain disruptions, employee health and absenteeism are the top three. Of financial loss is sitting in there. So yeah, slightly different perspectives from each of the different economies around the world. And as you can imagine, the least developed economies like Africa, power outages a massive impact on them, whereas North America, it's the supply chain disruptions are the biggest impacts. Yeah, as they said, preparing for climate challenges. Organizations must embrace themselves by creating climate risk management plans to absorb climate-related shocks, recover with agility, and resume normal operations effectively. They provide the crisis management toolkit, and then the key actions they're saying need to happen: developing contingency plans, protecting organizational infrastructure, creating adaptive supply and distribution chains, and using predictive analysis to anticipate future events and the impact of them. Lack of effective business resilience capabilities are underestimated. We do not have measures to future-proof the organization, considering potential future risks like flooding. That's an ACCA USA member. So we obviously have seen those massive weather events over in the US and in Madrid quite recently. Or sorry, not in Madrid, in Spain recently. And, obviously we've had the floods in Australia over the past number of years that have caused devastating impacts to the communities and businesses. Yeah, so again, goes into operational resilience. Operational resilience refers to an organization's ability to withstand, adapt to, and recover from major disruptions while minimizing their impact and learning from the experience. They got a little model in here to show how to navigate that, and then a business continuity toolkit. And they talk about the different types of events that you can expect from increased or changes in the climate. Main part of this report, I think, from a CFO finance perspective, finance driving the transition. Key message out of it is the role of finance is changing, with more focus on insight and forward-thinking decision support rather than concentrating solely on past reporting, and that the finance function is well placed to address organizations' increasing sustainability demands and to play a key role in driving sustainable value creation. Yeah, there's that little case study about Australia. Ausgrid is the name of the electricity network company down here. So we interviewed the head of sustainability and the head of finance in Australia in Ausgrid to understand a little bit about what they were doing. So it's a really interesting story in there about how Ausgrid have done some climate scenario modeling. Obviously, it's an electricity network grid. It looks at how what's the resilience of that grid over time and how does it get impacted by major events like cyclones and flood events and fires, which are increasing in the size and impact of those climate-related events as well. So quite a good little case study in there. I love, again, as I said, the way ACCA have put these together. Yeah, again, goes into more areas where finance is in a unique position to drive the change required to deliver effective resilience planning. It can provide an end-to-end perspective across the organization, as well as traditional skills that are highly useful for resilience planning, including facilitation, data quality management, reporting, scenario modeling, and financial planning and analysis. So just this one on data quality management, this is one of the things that ACCA have said in previous reports. We come back to this main area in here. Where is it gone now? I can't even see it here. The new area of, yes, this one, finance evolution, thriving in the next decade. So they talk about the role of the finance function and what the key kind of value proposition is in there. And one of the key things they call out is this need to ensure the integrity and quality of the data that's being used for decision support. So all of this data that's coming from known sources and unknown sources, in data that can be trusted and that those that can't. And I suppose what they're saying is that the role of the accountant is to really engender and create that trust and build trust around the data sources that people in the organization are making decisions on. So, yeah, as you kind of go through this area here, in climate change, data is a key part of this, and I think a lot of the regulators are going to be demanding quality data, trusted data from organizations to consolidate and collate into their country or state level reporting on climate change and climate impact. So yeah, it's a key area of opportunity for CFOs and finance teams and accountants to step into. Yeah, as you go down again, it starts up goes into specifics in there, the role of the accountancy profession and how they can help. So sustainable organizations is part of what the accounting profession is trying to create. It's building that awareness in organizations about what sustainability means and how to be sustainable. Stakeholders and regulators are focusing on operational resilience, so must we. Performance management processes need to reflect the organization's strategic goals. So it obviously has to go together, it has to work hand in hand. Multiple stakeholder needs, that's the thing that finance and accountants are really skilled at, is providing information to multiple stakeholders, both internally and externally from the organization, to be able to help understand how those stakeholders can work together with their own competing needs and work together. Again, going back to other links into the resources that they provided in here. Call to action for businesses. 5 points in here: understand and assess business risks. Again, all of these things are very much areas that the CFO and the finance function can step into. Embed resilience in the business strategy. Scale up investment in mitigation and adaptation. Communicate with stakeholders, and then advocate for climate resilience. So a big role, I think, coming through from that previous report I talked about the evolution of the finance function, to be that communicator, to be a marketer on behalf of sustainability and other organizational goals, but to have a voice and to be the influencers within organizations. So advocacy within the organization for climate resilience is a big call out here for the finance function. Then as you go further down, it talks about the role of government and policy decisions. It references the Global Economic Conditions Survey. One of the questions that have come out in the most recent version of this, again, that you'll find on the Policy and Insights tab. But one of the big questions was, next year, what do you think will happen to government policies designed to transition the country where you work into a greener economy? And, you know, they're talking predominantly about those increasing or that they'll stay the same. It'll be interesting to see what happens over in the US with some of that sort of deregulation that's going to happen as a result of Donald Trump and the Republicans getting back into power over there. Will it have a positive or a negative impact on climate policies? It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. And as you go further on, then it's ACCA's call to action for governments. Again, collaboration between governments and business is crucial. Again, an opportunity for finance to step in there and support businesses to be able to navigate that conversation and influence that conversation between government and business. Regulation for resilience. So governments must create regulations and plans to support resilient economies. Again, it's that increasing regulation that's coming through. I think to the point of what's happening in the US, it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think regulation, fit for purpose regulation, I think, is probably what the biggest call out should be. And that's where business and government need to work together and get the right balance across regulatory areas. Implementation of ISSB recommendations, private sector action on climate resilience, data to support business decision making. Again, that crucial area of trusted data being an opportunity for finance to step into. Then a capacity building for climate action. So this is really building in part of your planning process within business, but also in being able to have those resources available through from government when climate-related events do happen, that there's sufficient capacity to be able to react effectively to them. And then balancing climate adaptation and decarbonisation. So yeah, there's the 7 call-outs to action for governments. There's another little case study there from Scotland, and yeah, we've got the toolkits again there. So yeah, that's the whole report. Very good, really, really well run report and produced. Compliments to Emily and Skelton and the team for putting this together. I think it's been a fantastic piece of work over the last sort of year or so. With that sustainability team working with the policy and insights group to be able to come up with this. Yeah, great report. It's a really, really good report. I highly recommend people download it, have a read through it, use some of the toolkits that are in there. And yeah, reach out if there's anything that ACCA can help you with, and get involved in the conversation. Get the conversation going, keep it going, and start to move that conversation through your organization. All right, leave it at that. Thanks, everyone.